Welcome to Deadlines and Dirty Dishes. I'm your host, Alison Quinn, virtual assistant, online business manager, and founder of my own flexible, freelance-powered business. By day, I help entrepreneurs get organised, gain momentum, and stop doing it all alone. By night, I'm a solo mum navigating the beautiful chaos of life with my daughter. This podcast is for you, the self-employed, the overcommitted, and the curious. I promise honest insights, behind-the-scenes real talk, and practical tips for building a business that works on your terms. No sugarcoating, just authentic conversations about balancing deadlines and dirty dishes. So whether you're folding laundry, commuting, or stealing a moment of peace, I'm glad you're here with me today. Let's get into it. As I'm recording this, I'm already shuffling about in my chair, feeling my neck and back muscles tensing up. And that's actually perfect for today's episode because we're diving into a topic that's deeply personal to me, managing work while dealing with chronic pain. For those who don't know, I live with fibromyalgia, which essentially means I spend every day of my life in some sort of pain or discomfort. After 20 years of navigating this condition alongside my career, I've finally developed strategies that actually work, especially for those of us who spend hours at a desk. Today, I'm sharing practical ways to manage work and pain, approaches that have transformed my professional life and might just help you too. So whether you're dealing with chronic pain yourself or supporting someone who is, I hope you'll find something valuable in the next 20 minutes. I've been living with fibromyalgia for over 2 decades now, and it's quite the unwelcome companion. For those unfamiliar with this condition, imagine waking up every morning with your body feeling like you've run a marathon in your sleep. Your muscles ache, your joints feel stiff, and certain areas of your body are hypersensitive to the slightest touch. And the kicker? This isn't something that comes and goes. It's there every single day, though the intensity certainly fluctuates. Most people who know me professionally probably wouldn't guess I'm managing this condition. I've become quite skilled at putting on my game face for meetings and calls, but behind that professional facade, there's often a careful calculation happening. How to position my chair to minimise back pain, when to schedule breaks so I can stretch, or whether I need to take pain medication before that 3-hour strategy session. The impact on my working life has been significant. When I first started dealing with fibromyalgia, I struggled tremendously with maintaining focus during pain flare-ups. Brain fog would roll in alongside the physical discomfort, making complex tasks feel nearly impossible. There were days when typing even a simple email felt like asking my fingers to move mountains. What really changed things for me was working with my GP and the NHS pain management team. Rather than purely focusing on eliminating pain, which frankly isn't realistic with a chronic condition, they helped me develop strategies to work around it and minimise its impact on my productivity and well-being. I learned that managing fibromyalgia while maintaining a career isn't about finding a miracle cure. It's about creating systems and routines that accommodate your body's needs. It's about recognising patterns and triggers and planning your work accordingly. For instance, I now know that my pain tends to peak in the afternoons, so I schedule my most demanding cognitive tasks for the morning when I'm typically at my best. The desk-bound nature of my work presents particular challenges. Sitting for prolonged periods is basically kryptonite for someone with fibromyalgia. But with thoughtful planning and some practical adjustments to both my workspace and workflow, I've found ways to thrive professionally despite the daily discomfort. Let's talk about sleep, that magical state we all need, but that chronic pain has a knack for disrupting. When I'm experiencing a flare-up, getting comfortable enough to fall asleep can feel like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube in the dark. You toss, you turn, you try every position imaginable, and still, that nagging pain keeps you frustratingly awake. But here's the painful irony. Poor sleep actually increases pain sensitivity. It's a vicious cycle. Pain disrupts sleep, and lack of sleep makes pain worse. Breaking this cycle has been absolutely crucial in my pain management journey. The game changer for me was establishing rock-solid sleep consistency. Your body craves routine, especially when it's already dealing with pain. Going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, yes, even on weekends, helps regulate your body's internal clock, making quality sleep more accessible. I now treat my bedtime routine with the same importance as any business meeting. It's non-negotiable. About an hour before bed, all screens go away. The blue light from phones and computers is particularly disruptive to melatonin production, which is critical for sleep. Instead, I dim the lights and signal to my body that it's time to wind down. What works wonders is creating a sleep ritual that your body begins to associate with rest. For me, that's a warm bath with Epsom salts to ease muscle tension, followed by some gentle stretching focused on my typical pain points. I'll often listen to a sleep meditation or a boring podcast, something engaging enough to distract from pain, but not so interesting that it keeps me awake. Temperature regulation is another key factor. I keep my bedroom slightly cool and use layered bedding that I can adjust throughout the night if pain-related temperature fluctuations occur. A good quality mattress and pillows that provide proper support have been worth every penny of investment. Remember, quality trumps quantity when it comes to sleep. 6 hours of deep, uninterrupted sleep will serve your pain levels better than 8 hours of fragmented rest. If you're struggling, don't suffer in silence. Speak with your doctor about options that might help bridge the gap while you work on establishing better sleep habits. Now let's dive into the second cornerstone of managing work while dealing with chronic pain, hydration. I cannot emphasize enough how transformative proper hydration has been in my pain management journey. It's quite possibly the simplest strategy on our list, yet one that's consistently overlooked. When arthritis.org refers to water as a magical elixir, they're not exaggerating. Think of your joints as hinges that need lubrication to function smoothly. Without adequate water, those hinges begin to grind and create friction, amplifying pain signals. Water actually helps maintain the cushioning effect of synovial fluid in your joints, allowing for smoother movement throughout your workday. But water's pain-fighting properties go beyond joint lubrication. Chronic pain conditions like fibromyalgia are often accompanied by inflammation. Water helps flush inflammation-causing toxins from your system, essentially cleaning house on a cellular level. On days when I've neglected my water intake, I can feel the difference by mid-afternoon. My pain levels creep up and my muscles feel notably tighter. The cognitive benefits of staying hydrated are equally important when you're trying to remain productive despite pain. Even mild dehydration can impair concentration, decision-making and memory. All functions we can't afford to compromise when pain is already taxing our mental resources. That brain fog that many chronic pain sufferers experience, dehydration makes it significantly worse. I keep a large water bottle at my desk with time markers on it, ensuring I'm drinking consistently throughout the day rather than playing catch-up later. I aim for at least 2 litres daily, but on high pain days or during hot weather, I increase that amount. Herbal teas count toward your fluid intake too, offering a warm alternative when you need variety. Remember that caffeinated beverages like coffee can actually increase dehydration, so balance those flat whites with extra water. Your body and your pain levels will thank you for it. Let's talk about food as medicine, because what we eat plays a crucial role in managing chronic pain. I've learned this the hard way through years of trial and error with my fibromyalgia. The connection between diet and inflammation is powerful, and making smart nutritional choices has become one of my most effective pain management strategies. When we're dealing with chronic pain, our bodies are often in a state of inflammation. Certain foods can either fuel that fire or help extinguish it. Anti-inflammatory foods should become your new best friends. Think colourful fruits and vegetables rich in antioxidants, berries, dark leafy greens, and bright orange sweet potatoes. These foods fight the free radicals that contribute to inflammation and pain. Omega-3 fatty acids are particularly powerful pain fighters. I've incorporated more fatty fish like salmon and sardines into my diet, along with walnuts, flax seeds, and chia seeds. These healthy fats help reduce inflammatory markers in the body and can actually lower pain sensitivity over time. Turmeric deserves special mention here. I add this bright yellow spice to everything from curries to smoothies because its active component, curcumin, has impressive anti-inflammatory properties. A little black pepper helps your body absorb it better, a tip I learned from my pain management team. Just as important as knowing what to eat is knowing what to avoid. Processed foods, refined sugars, and excessive amounts of dairy and red meat can trigger inflammation and exacerbate pain. I've found that keeping a food journal helped me identify my personal trigger foods. For me, gluten and excess sugar are guaranteed to amplify my pain levels within hours. Beyond physical pain, nutrition significantly impacts the cognitive symptoms that accompany conditions like fibromyalgia. That frustrating brain fog, the inability to concentrate, the word-finding difficulties, proper nutrition can help clear the mental haze. Foods rich in B vitamins like beans, nuts, and whole grains support brain function and energy production. I prioritise protein at every meal to stabilise blood sugar levels, which prevents the energy crashes that can intensify pain perception. Steady energy means I can work more effectively despite discomfort. Remember, nutritional changes aren't a quick fix. They require consistency. I view each meal as an opportunity to either support my body's healing or to potentially trigger more pain. When you're facing deadlines and the convenience of processed foods beckons, remember that what you eat today affects how you'll feel tomorrow. Let's talk about something that's often overlooked when managing pain at work: dressing for comfort. When you're already dealing with pain, the last thing you need is clothing that makes you feel worse. Temperature regulation becomes incredibly important, and for many of us with chronic pain conditions, it can be a real challenge. I've found that wearing layers is absolutely essential. During my fibromyalgia flares, my body's temperature regulation system seems to go completely haywire. 1 minute I'm burning up like I'm sitting in a sauna, and the next I'm shivering with hands that have turned an alarming shade of blue. It's not just uncomfortable, these temperature swings can actually trigger or intensify pain. In professional settings, this presents a unique challenge. We want to look put together and appropriate while still being prepared for these unpredictable temperature fluctuations. My solution is a carefully planned layering system. I start with breathable, natural fibre base layers that wick moisture away from the body. Cotton, bamboo, or merino wool are excellent choices that feel gentle against sensitive skin. Over this, I'll wear a light cardigan or blazer that can be easily removed if I start overheating. Scarves are my secret weapon. They can add warmth around the neck and shoulders, where I carry a lot of tension, but can be quickly removed and tucked into my bag if needed. For the lower body, stretchy, non-restrictive trousers or skirts with comfortable waistbands prevent additional pressure points. It's also worth considering the actual office environment. Is your workspace near a vent blasting cold air? Is it by a window where the sun creates heat? Being mindful of these factors helps you prepare accordingly. I keep a small throw blanket at my desk for those particularly cold days, and a personal fan for when the heat becomes overwhelming. Remember, prevention is key here. By dressing appropriately for your body's needs, you're eliminating one potential pain trigger before it has a chance to affect you. Your clothing choices are a form of self-care, and there's no need to sacrifice professionalism for comfort. With some thoughtful planning, you can achieve both. We've all done it, gotten so engrossed in a project that suddenly 3 hours have passed and we realise we haven't moved a muscle. Our bodies are locked in the same position, shoulders hunched, neck craned forward, fingers frozen over the keyboard. For people with chronic pain conditions, this immobility is more than just uncomfortable. It can trigger severe pain flares that last for days. Movement is absolutely essential for managing pain, especially when you spend most of your day working at a desk. When we stay still for too long, our muscles tighten, circulation slows down, and tension builds in key areas like the neck, shoulders, and lower back. For someone with fibromyalgia or other chronic pain conditions, this static posture can amplify pain signals that are already dialed up to 11. I've learned, sometimes the hard way, that incorporating regular movement throughout my workday isn't optional. It's necessary maintenance for my body. The good news is that you don't need elaborate exercise routines or lengthy breaks to make a difference. Small, consistent movement breaks can dramatically reduce pain levels and prevent stiffness from setting in. One strategy that works well for me is setting movement reminders. I use a simple timer that goes off every 30 minutes, prompting me to stand up, stretch, or take a short walk. There are also apps designed specifically for this purpose that will guide you through quick desk exercises when the reminder sounds. When I hear that timer, I might do shoulder rolls, gentle neck stretches, or wrist flexes, all movements that can be done right at my desk in under a minute. Sometimes I'll walk to refill my water bottle or make a cup of tea, combining my movement break with hydration, another crucial element of pain management we discussed earlier. For longer breaks, I try to incorporate more substantial movement. A 5-minute walk around the office or outdoors if possible. A series of standing stretches focusing on areas where I tend to hold tension. Even simple tasks like delivering a message to a colleague in person rather than sending an email can add valuable movement to your day. The key is consistency. It's far better to take frequent, short movement breaks than to sit still for hours and then try to compensate with an intense workout later. Your body needs that regular relief from static positions throughout the day. If you work in an environment where getting up frequently might seem strange to colleagues, consider having a brief conversation with them about your needs. Most people are understanding when they realise these small accommodations help you manage a chronic condition and stay productive. And remember, the research shows that regular movement breaks benefit everyone's health and productivity, not just those with pain conditions. I cannot emphasize enough how crucial having the right equipment and setup is for managing pain in the workplace. This isn't just about comfort, it's about prevention and long-term health maintenance. The right ergonomic setup can make the difference between ending your workday feeling relatively well or being completely incapacitated by pain. Let's talk about what makes an effective ergonomic workspace. For me, investing in an adjustable operator's chair was game-changing. Not just any office chair, but one that allows you to customize the height, armrests, lumbar support, and seat depth. When you're dealing with chronic pain, these aren't luxury features. They're necessities that allow you to shift positions throughout the day and maintain proper alignment. Your monitor position is equally important. I use height-adjustable monitors that I can position at eye level, which prevents that forward head posture that triggers neck and shoulder pain. The top of your screen should be at or slightly below eye level and about an arm's length away. If you're working on a laptop, consider a laptop stand paired with a separate keyboard and mouse. Speaking of keyboards and mice, ergonomic versions can make a tremendous difference. I switched to an ergonomic keyboard that keeps my wrists in a more natural position and an ergonomic mouse that reduces strain on my hand and wrist. These tools are designed to work with your body's natural alignment rather than forcing your body to adapt to the technology. For those who stand for work or want to incorporate a standing desk, anti-fatigue mats can provide crucial support. And don't overlook the importance of proper lighting. Eye strain can contribute significantly to headaches and neck tension. Now, if you're employed by a company, know that in many places, employers have a legal obligation to provide proper workstation assessments and equipment. The Health and Safety Executive offers excellent resources on display screen equipment checks that employers should be conducting. Don't be afraid to advocate for yourself and request these assessments. If you're self-employed like me, it becomes your responsibility to evaluate your workspace and make necessary adjustments. I know ergonomic equipment can be expensive, but I view it as an investment in my health and ability to work. You might consider starting with the most essential items and gradually building your ergonomic workspace as your budget allows. Take photos of your workspace and analyse your posture during different tasks. Are you hunching, leaning, twisting awkwardly to reach things? These observations can help you identify what needs changing. Remember that ergonomics isn't just about equipment, it's also about arrangement. Position frequently used items within easy reach to minimise stretching and twisting. Organise your workspace to encourage movement rather than staying fixed in one position. Your workspace should adapt to you, not the other way around. With thoughtful planning and the right tools, you can create an environment that supports your body rather than challenging it. Now let's talk about something that took me far too long to learn: recognizing pain signals early and actually doing something about them. How many of us feel that first twinge of pain and think, it'll probably go away on its own, and then just continue working? I'm raising my hand high here because this was me for years. This approach is precisely how not to manage chronic pain. I used to push through, ignoring those early warning signs until the pain became so unbearable that I couldn't function. By that point, it was too late for simple interventions to work effectively. At its worst, this approach landed me in the hospital, hooked up to an IV and in absolute agony. Here's what I've learned. Pain doesn't jump from 1 to 50 on the scale instantaneously. It climbs gradually through each number, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Sometimes it climbs quickly, but there are usually warning signs if you're paying attention. One of the most significant breakthroughs in my pain management came when I started noticing and respecting those early indicators. For me, it might begin with a slight stiffness in my neck, a barely perceptible change in how my shoulders feel, or a subtle tightness at the base of my skull. These are my body's early warning system, and I've learned to listen carefully. When I notice these signals now, I take immediate action. I step away from my desk, take appropriate pain medication before the pain intensifies, drink a full glass of water, and perhaps lie down for 30 minutes with a heat pack. This short intervention at the first sign of trouble has repeatedly saved me from losing entire days to debilitating pain. I've also learned to recognise patterns in my pain triggers. For example, certain types of stress or specific movements might consistently precede a flare-up. Tracking these patterns has helped me become proactive rather than reactive in my pain management approach. Sometimes I can even head off a pain episode by adjusting my behaviour when I encounter a known trigger. The key is developing body awareness, really tuning in to what's happening physically instead of pushing those signals aside to meet a deadline or finish a task. This might mean setting reminders to check in with your body throughout the workday, especially during intensive focus periods when it's easy to ignore physical sensations. I now keep a simple pain journal where I note early symptoms, potential triggers, and what interventions worked. This has been invaluable for recognizing patterns and refining my approach over time. What works for a tension headache might be different from what addresses nerve pain or joint discomfort. Remember that early intervention doesn't mean you're being dramatic or weak. It means you're being smart and strategic about managing your health while maintaining your productivity. It's actually the stronger, more disciplined approach to listen to your body before the whispers become screams. Now let's talk about our final strategy, managing stress. A little bit of stress can actually be productive. It gives us that push to meet deadlines and achieve our goals. But when stress becomes excessive, it can dramatically amplify pain. This happens because stress activates our fight or flight response, which can increase muscle tension, elevate inflammation, and lower our pain threshold. I've found that having a toolkit of stress management techniques is absolutely essential when balancing work responsibilities with chronic pain. These aren't just nice-to-have practices, they're necessities if you want to prevent stress from exacerbating your pain condition. Meditation has been transformative for me. Apps like Calm and Headspace offer guided sessions specifically designed for pain management and stress reduction. Even just 10 minutes daily can make a remarkable difference. What I love about meditation is that the benefits compound. The more consistently you practice, the more readily you can access that sense of calm when you need it most. During particularly stressful work weeks, I'll schedule short meditation breaks between tasks. Breathing exercises are another powerful tool, especially because they can be done anywhere without anyone noticing. Square breathing is my go-to technique during meetings or high-pressure situations. You simply breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and hold again for 4. This pattern interrupts the stress response and helps your nervous system shift from fight or flight to rest and digest mode. Using your senses to ground yourself is another effective approach. When I feel stress building, I might take a moment to identify 5 things I can see, 4 things I can touch, 3 things I can hear, 2 things I can smell, and 1 thing I can taste. This sensory awareness exercise pulls you out of anxious thoughts and back into the present moment. I've also created personalised affirmations and mantras that directly address my relationship with pain and work. Phrases like, "I can accomplish my work while honouring my body's needs," or "Pacing myself isn't weakness, it's wisdom," help reframe my thinking when I start pushing too hard. I keep these written on sticky notes near my workspace and set them as notifications on my phone. What's fascinating is how interconnected all these strategies are. When I'm managing stress effectively, I sleep better. When I'm well rested, I make better food choices. When I'm nourished, I have more energy for movement breaks. It creates a positive cycle where each healthy choice reinforces the others. Remember that stress management isn't self-indulgence. It's a critical component of pain management and professional sustainability. By incorporating these techniques into your workday, you're actually enhancing your productivity in the long run by preventing pain flares that could sideline you completely. Well, we've covered quite a bit of ground today on managing work while dealing with chronic pain. Let's recap the 8 strategies we've discussed that have been game changers in my 2-decade journey with fibromyalgia. First, prioritise consistent sleep and rest by establishing regular bedtime routines. Second, drink plenty of water, that magical elixir that lubricates joints and flushes out inflammation. Third, fuel your body with pain-fighting foods like nuts, fish, and vegetables. Fourth, dress in layers to manage temperature fluctuations that can trigger or worsen pain. Fifth, incorporate regular movement throughout your workday. Sixth, invest in proper ergonomic equipment. Trust me, your body will thank you for it. Seventh, learn to recognize and address pain signals early rather than waiting until they become unbearable. And finally, develop effective stress management techniques, as stress can dramatically amplify pain symptoms. What I hope you take away from this episode is that managing pain while maintaining a productive work life isn't about finding a single miracle solution. It's about creating a comprehensive strategy that addresses multiple aspects of well-being. If you're struggling with chronic pain, please don't suffer in silence. Consult with your GP and ask about pain management resources that might be available to you. The NHS pain management teams, like the one that helped me, can provide invaluable support and strategies tailored to your specific situation. For further reading, I've included links in the show notes to resources on improving sleep quality, anti-inflammatory foods, and the spoon theory, a brilliant metaphor that helps explain energy limitations to others. There's also information about pacing techniques and mindfulness practices, specifically designed for people balancing professional responsibilities with chronic conditions. Remember that managing work and pain is a marathon, not a sprint. Be patient with yourself, celebrate small victories, and keep refining your approach. Your experience matters, and your productivity doesn't define your worth.